Hello everyone, welcome to Tech Sharmit. In this session, we will discuss about another topic related to HTML forms, where we will learn how we can utilize input tag under this HTML form. So there are various method or you can say various scenarios where we can utilize the input tag in order to accept the input from user. So each and every type we will cover. So mainly in this portion we are going to see three methods to use input tag for three different kind of values. So I'll explain you that from scratch. But before we start the session, I would like to recommend you to please go and check out the previously released sessions first, because these all sessions are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow them sequentially, then it would be really very easy for you to understand the ongoing topic. Okay, so that's why I'm recommending you to please go and check out this previously released. You can check out the playlist, because each and every session of this playlist is connected with each other. Okay, fine. Now here you can see we have just prepared the basic HTML code on my screen with just some comments as well as some one heading line only. Okay, H1. So let me save this and show you the output of this code. So far we have designed only this thing, HTML by texture. Now what we are going to do, we are going to talk about forms. So I'll explain you each and every type of tag that we are using with form, and then I will explain you the requirement, because requirement is much more important than the syntax. Because if you are comfortable with requirement, then easily you can figure out the syntax and then you can use it. Okay, so it's better to understand the requirement. So now let me add one heading here. So I'll write h2. Here I will write forms in HTML. Okay, forms in HTML. Now if I save it and refresh my browser, you will find it is coming like this, forms in HTML. Fine. Now, or maybe we can write input tag, input tag with forms in HTML. Okay, so this would be the perfect definition, I would say. Input tag with forms, with input tag with forms in HTML. Alright, now it's time to create the form. So to create the form, first thing we need is form tag. So simply write here form, enter. So now this is the block where we can put everything related to everything related to your forms in order to accept user input, different type of input we can accept. So all these things we are going to discuss here, right? Now here we will use one keyword, I would say, or the attribute, which is action. So in previous session we discussed about action, like whatever uh, page where we want to navigate our flow after a click or after a submit, we will mention that page here only. Okay, so let's say I want to move it to one of my source code which I have already prepared, for example 45. Okay, so let's select TSPGM 45. So this is the web page which we designed during the tutorial itself. So I just mentioned it here. Now what we are going to do, we are going to hit enter, and if I want to create a form, so let's create one button and one input tag. So let's go with input tag first, but before that let me explain you the requirement. Requirement is that we want to show three text and three respective fields of input, and in these input field we are going to accept different type of input. Okay, so let's say firstly I want to accept username from the user. So how to do this? So to achieve this, what we will do here, we will write firstly h4, although there are other ways to write the text, but for now just to show you clearly I am using h4, and here I can write enter username. Okay, again I'm saying that we have other options as well, like we can use placeholder with input tag, but that thing we will discuss later. For now we are just focusing on this thing, like how we can write in a normal text. Okay, so enter username, then we are supposed to create the input tag. So to create input tag, you can simply write input and close it. Did you notice something here? It doesn't come with the closing bracket or closing tag. Okay, so it is not coming with closing tag. So what we can do now, we can simply write here, and this is important question as well for the interview, that does this input tag have any closing tag? So you can simply answer no, it doesn't have a closing tag. Okay, even interviewer may ask you the question in a different way, like how many list down any uh, tag which doesn't support the closing tag or something like this. So you should know about this. Okay, fine. Now here we are supposed to mention type, so we are going to accept username. So for that, what I can simply write here is username, and type would be text only, because we are going to accept text. Then simply you can write name, and here you can put name which you want to give this field. Okay, so I just mention it as username. Alright, so we are ready with this field. So just save it and refresh your browser. You will see the field is coming here. But we need a button in order to submit this data. So let's create the button first. So here I will write button. Okay, this is coming with a closing tag. So here I can write click to submit. Okay, and in button we will mention the type as submit. Okay, now simply save your code and refresh your browser. Once you refresh your browser, you will find that now field is coming with a text with a button, click to submit. You can arrange it properly in as per your requirement, but just for the demo purpose we are going to talk about the fields and the buttons, but we can design it later as well. Okay, so just focus on the concept, like how we are using input tag. Now here if I write something, let's say Amit as a username, and click on submit button, so it will take me to the next page which I have mentioned in the action tab, action attribute, and you can see now it moved me to the previous one of my previously created web page. Okay, and also you notice that it is providing it is redirecting with this value, username is Amit, which we have provided through form. Okay, so this is how it works. When you key in some username, let's say if I change the username, what it will do, it will change, it will move the changed value. So now you can see username is Sharmit. Okay, fine. Now the next requirement is I also want to create one field for the password. So how to do this? So let's firstly add heading here. As I mentioned that input tag can use placeholder to show the text inside it, the field itself, but we are not going to talk on this now. We are just seeing like how we can use it with text. Okay, so that's why I'm using heading. Now here we can write password. Now if here I use the same approach with the input tag, let's say instead here if I go with text and name is user password. So is this the right way to use this tag? Let me show you. So I'll remove this from here, save it and refresh it. So now you can see the field is coming. That is good. Okay, so let's say I'm user, I want to fill my form, so I will write here Amit and then I will put my password. Oh, so this is a security breach, right? Yes, because we are trying to key in the password and it is visible to everyone. Let's say if I'm working in an institution or in an office, I'm using this form, and when I put this thing and others are also watching my screen, right? Other member are also watching my screen, so they can simply find out my password. So this is not the right way, right? Because this is something confidential, we can't share it with everyone. So just to fix this issue, we have another type in a password tag. Let me show you. So just to write it in a confidential manner, what we will do, we will use the type here as password. Now you can save it and refresh your browser. And then when you put Amit and 123 again, this time you can see it is not showing the actual password. Instead, it is showing dot, or you can asterisk. It is hiding the password now, right? So this is the best way to use this input tag with type password. The moment when we click on submit, it will take us to the next page, and here you can see the password is still visible. So that solution we will also find. like how to hide it from URL after sending it, that we will also discuss. But for timing, we are just focusing on input field. That's why I'm just explaining everything related to input tag. Okay, fine. Now the third thing is, there is one more requirement. We want to accept email as well. Okay, so let's create for email. Let's go with 4 itself, h4, and here I will write enter email. Okay, and then you can use input tag, input email type. So here we have to mention the type as email. I'll tell you why. Name would be user email. Fine. Now save it and refresh your browser. Once you refresh your browser, you will see that it is coming with three fields: username, password, and email. So let's put username as Amit, password as 123, and email as ABC only. So will it accept? No, because we are using the type email. The moment when you click on submit, it will show you this error. Please include an at in email address. ABC is missing an at the rate. Okay. So this is how email type is beneficial for us. The moment when I complete it with proper email or a valid email, it will allow me to submit it. So once I click on submit now, you can see it is allowing me to submit. Even everything related to my form is coming on this URL: a username, password, and email. It means we are ready, and our program, our form is ready, right? And it is working as expected. Okay, so this is how we can create a form with three types of input tag, where we discuss how to accept text from a input tag, how to accept password from a user, and how to accept email from a user. And each input tag is created with different type: text, password, and email. And we uh, now we are comfortable with the definition, I would say the use of these three types, right? We know that if we are using password as a text, then it will show the password. That's why we are using password type. If we use email with the text, then it will not validate the email. But if we are using with email value, then it will validate it, email type. Okay, fine. So yeah, that's all for this session. I hope it is clear to all of you. In the next session we will discuss few more things. So thank you for watching TechShare.